Harvard Business Review, and thank you, Brandi, for sending me the information on this Harvard Business Review study. They did a study, and one interesting thing they found about perfectionism in the workplace was when they looked at the results that perfectionists got in the workplace, they really weren't measurably different or better than the non-perfectionists. But Brandi, what I found even more interesting was the fact that they identified two different types of perfectionism in this study. And the first was excellence-based perfectionism, which seemed fairly benign. But then the other one was this, and let me just switch cameras here. It was called failure avoiding perfectionism. So I've put the quote up here, and Brandi sent this to me. So, failure avoiding perfectionism involves an obsessive concern and aversion towards failing to reach high performance standards. Failure avoiding perfectionists believe that they will lose respect from others if they do not achieve. Now, one of the things I find interesting in this quote is the words obsessive concern, Brandi. That almost sounds like the language that we use around mental health, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Jason. So I think when we take a look at that failure avoiding perfectionism, I think, it's good to separate two things here. And that is that often people are really driven to do the best work they can possibly do and put their whole heart into their work. And that is one piece. But then when we look at this perfectionistic side, and yes, that word obsession, that's where there's a real shift that happens there. And it is highly correlated with things like depression and anxiety and burnout. And so from my experience, research and the work that I do, I know that that line between when we're working really hard, love what we do, and we're totally invested, and that failure avoiding perfectionism, there's a line there. I think that's the first distinction I would make. There's a real difference between someone who's really trying hard and someone whose all of their effort is going into making sure you don't really see who we are.